My beloved ones, their attention to what I'm saying. There comes a moment in every soul's journey where you are no longer required to speak, no longer required to explain yourself, defend yourself, prove yourself. Instead, you rise in silence. You withdraw from the noise. You retreat from the drama, and you let your absence speak louder than your presence ever did. There is power in stepping back. There is healing in staying silent. Because not everyone deserves access to your energy, to your love, to your spirit. Saying some only wake up when you no longer show up. Some only see your worth when your light no longer warms them. So let them wonder. Let them question. Let them taste the bitterness of your silence. Because your peace is not up for negotiation. Your worth is not up for discussion. And your love is not a convenience. If they played with your feelings, now let them wrestle with your absence. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. If they took you for granted, now let them beg for what they ignored. Don't speak. Don't chase. Don't explain. Let your distance discipline them to what I'm saying. You were never hard to love. They were just too blind to see it, to what I'm saying. But now your silence will echo through their nights, to what I'm saying. And the space you once filled will haunt their days. Pay attention to what I'm saying, because once a soul like yours pulls back, it never returns the same. There comes a time in life when silence becomes more powerful than words. When you have explained yourself too many times, when your cries have echoed into deaf ears, and your emotions have been used as weapons against you, then silence becomes your sword and shield. In that silence, you're not defeated. You're transformed. You are no longer playing by their rules. You're no longer trapped in their cycle of reaction, blame, and guilt. What I'm saying. You're stepping into a place where your peace speaks louder than any argument ever could. When you go quiet, you allow truth to echo louder than any excuse they can fabricate. People often expect chaos when they hurt someone. They expect a response, a fight, a breakdown. but what shakes them to their core when you choose to stay silent instead. When you no longer react, they lose control. Because your silence says, I have nothing more to prove. I have seen enough. I have given enough. And now, I choose myself. That silence is not empty. It is full of dignity. It's full of boundaries. It's full of power. And it forces the other person to finally face what they tried so hard to avoid: your worth. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It is not surrender. In fact, it takes more strength to stay silent than to shout. The world tells you to speak up for yourself. And yes, that has its place. But in certain moments, especially when you're being misunderstood, or mistreated intentionally, silence becomes your most powerful protest. You don't need to participate in every battle. Some battles are won stepping away to what I'm saying and letting your silence become the storm they cannot ignore. Let them hear your quietness to what I'm saying, and let that quietness echo the weight of everything you once tried to say. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. It is in your silence that your strength is most visible. When you stop what I'm saying, when you stop arguing with people who never wanted to understand you in the first place, to what I'm saying, you set yourself free. You free your mind, your heart, and your soul. You no longer waste energy trying to be heard in a room that thrives on your pain. Silence becomes your statement, your boundary, your decision. Those who once thrived on your reactions, watch them grow restless, confused to what I'm saying, and desperate for the sound of your voice. Because your silence you'll speak every truth they tried to deny. There are moments when stepping away becomes the loudest message you can deliver. Your withdrawal is not an escape. It's a declaration. It says, I have had enough. It says, I will not stand where I am not valued. It says, I am reclaiming my power. When you remove yourself from a situation that disrespects you, what I'm saying, you are not walking away in defeat. You are walking away in wisdom. You are no longer entertaining conversations that drain your soul, or staying in spaces where your presence is overlooked. To what I'm saying, your silence paired with your absence becomes a mirror, forcing others to face the damage they caused. It becomes the pause that is saying and disrupts their comfort and exposes their wrongdoing without you ever needing to raise your voice. People often misunderstand withdrawal. They think it's passive, weak, or emotional. Pay attention to what I'm saying. But true withdrawal comes from a place of clarity. It is intentional. It's the decision to stop trying to fix what someone keeps breaking. It's the moment you decide you're no longer a volunteer for their disrespect. You don't send a warning. You don't draft a goodbye. You just leave. You leave mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sometimes even physically. And that absence, that void, what is where the truth settles in to what I'm saying. It's where they realize that your constant presence was never owed to them. It was a gift. And now the gift is gone. Your presence is not ordinary. It is a privilege. When you give someone your time, your heart, loyalty, your patience to what I'm saying, you are giving them something rare, something sacred. You are not just filling space, you are adding value. Your presence brings warmth, attention to what I'm saying. Your presence brings peace. Your presence brings understanding. Attention to what I'm saying. But when people begin to treat that presence as if it's owed, pay attention to what I'm saying. When they grow used to your kindness and begin to take it for granted, to what I'm saying, that's when you must remind them, without a word, that you were never an obligation to what I'm saying. You were a blessing they mishandled. And sometimes the only way to remind them is to take that blessing away. Too often, is what I'm saying. People only recognize value when it's removed. As long as you're available, they assume to what I'm saying. They assume you'll always be there. As long as you answer every call, respond to every message, to what I'm saying, support them through every storm. They forget you have your own storms too. They forget you are human, with limits, with needs, with a heart that can be wounded. So when you stop showing up, When you step back and no longer fill the space they once assumed you always would, reality hits. They realize the comfort. To realize the comfort they once had wasn't guaranteed. Your presence, your energy, your love, it was never theirs by right. It was yours by choice. What I'm saying, and you've chosen to give it to someone who won't misuse it. Sometimes people only understand your value in your absence. As long as you are close, responding, giving, forgiving to what I'm saying, they live in the illusion that you will never leave. They get comfortable with your presence and careless with your heart. But the moment you distance yourself, the illusion shatters. Your silence creates a space they can no longer fill. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. Your absence becomes a weight they never expected to carry. And in that distance to what I'm saying, they start to remember everything they ignored, your efforts, your loyalty, your sacrifices. They begin to replay the moments they brushed off, the times you reached out. Pay attention to what I'm saying. The love they dismissed. And now that you're no longer there, those memories haunt them like unanswered prayers. Distance forces them to sit with what they've done. Attention to what I'm saying. It strips away their distractions and confronts them with the truth they refuse to see. The person who once stood by them, listened to them, defended them, you, has become quiet, untouchable, unreachable. And suddenly, all the attention they gave to others, all the games they played, all the moments, to what I'm saying, all the moments they to appreciate you, none of it feels worth it anymore. The space between you isn't just physical, it's emotional, spiritual. It becomes a mirror showing them what life feels like without you. And no matter how far you go, that realization will chase them. Because once the heart that loved them without limits steps back, it leaves a silence that screams louder than any goodbye. You do not owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace over chaos. Hello? To what I'm saying, you do not need to justify why you stopped answering, why you stopped showing up, why you started prioritizing yourself. If someone truly cared, they would have noticed the signs. Would noticed the signs before you ever pulled away. Pay attention to what I'm saying. They would have heard the silence between your words, the exhaustion behind your smiles, to what I'm saying, the pain hidden in your patience, to what I'm saying. But when they fail to see what you're going through and still demand a reason for your distance, understand this: your healing is not their courtroom. You are not on trial. Attention to what I'm saying. You are not required to explain to those who were blind to your breaking why you finally chose to walk away. Pay attention to what I'm saying. There's a deep kind of strength in choosing to walk away quietly. Just pay attention to what I'm saying. It shows that your peace is no longer up for debate, and your boundaries are not open for discussion. When you explain yourself too much, not attention to what I'm saying, you invite people to question your pain, invalidate your experiences, or twist your words. But when you stay silent and walk away, you send a louder message. They no longer have access to your vulnerability. You are done pleading, done proving, done explaining. Your silence says, I know my worth now, and I don't need your permission to protect it. That kind of silence cannot be argued with. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. It becomes a wall they cannot climb, a mirror they cannot look into. What I'm saying, and a consequence they cannot undo. To what I'm saying, your energy is not something to be handed out freely like spare change. It is sacred to what I'm saying, and it must be protected like a treasure of the soul. Not everyone deserves access to the deepest parts of you, the parts that listen without judgment, that care without condition, that care without condition, that give without asking for anything in return. When you constantly pour into others who only take and never pour back, you begin to run dry. You begin to feel drained, invisible, and forgotten. That's when you must step back and remember your energy builds worlds. It comforts the broken. It comforts the broken, uplifts the weary, heals the hurting. Pay attention to what I'm saying. But if it's being used by people who only show up when it benefits them, then you must close the door. Then you must become selective. Guard your time. Guard your space. Guard your heart. Because when your energy is aligned, you radiate a power that can't be manipulated, controlled, or diminished. Pay attention to what I'm saying. And those who once used you as a source will feel the void when your light no longer shines for them. Let them feel the loss. Not out of revenge, but out of necessity. When someone repeatedly hurts you, disrespects your worth, and disregards your presence, they must be allowed to experience life without your light. Stop rushing to explain, to fix, to what I'm to rescue. Let them sit in the emptiness they created. Let them taste the silence they once forced upon you. Let them face the coldness let them sayings that replaces the warmth you used to give so freely. To what I'm saying, it is not your job to shield people from the consequences of their own actions. When you always run back, they never learn. But when you step away and stay away, they are forced to confront what they lost. What I'm saying. And that realization, that deep aching awareness that they had something rare and let it slip through their fingers, will humble even the proudest hearts. Sometimes the only way they will ever change is by losing you for good. So now, stand tall in your silence. Let your distance speak the truth. They refused to hear when you were near. You don't need revenge. You don't need validation. Your peace is the proof. Your healing is the victory. And your silence, it will echo in places your words never reached. Let them wonder. Let them regret. Let them beg. But you keep walking. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Because once you've seen your worth, once you've felt the power of saying, stepping back and staying silent to what I'm saying, you'll never return to the place that once made you forget it. Flee. You were never meant to be begging for love. You were meant to be the one they begged to return. And by then, it will be too late